Hey everyone, this is Narendra and you're watching to my channel BioGuru. Today in this video we are going to learn about the different phases through which sexually reproducing organisms pass through. This video is actually the continuation of my previous video. If you missed that video, here is the link. Go through that video first and then come back to this video. Anyhow, let's begin. In our previous video, we have seen that sexually reproducing organisms have to pass through three stages. What are those stages? First one is juvenile phase, second one is a reproductive phase, and third one is a senescence phase. Here in this video, I'm going to tell you about the juvenile phase, along with that a reproductive phase. So let's begin. The first one is juvenile phase, which is also known as vegetative phase. Along with that, we are also going to learn about reproductive phase. Here, all organisms, irrespective in the difference of their morphology, physiology and anatomy, can reproduce sexually only after certain stage of growth and maturity. Basically, juvenile phase is the period of growth. First, organisms need to grow in order to reproduce sexually. Organisms soon after taking birth cannot reproduce sexually. The body needs to prepare. Body needs time in order to reproduce sexually. So this phase, juvenile phase or vegetative phase, is basically it is the period of growth prior to the sexual reproduction. So here is the definition for the juvenile phase. What is that? It is the period of growth prior means here before, prior to the sexual reproduction, right? This phase is variable in duration in different organisms. Juvenile phase is having variable in duration in different organisms. Right? Here we have two terms, juvenile phase and vegetative phase. Basically, in animals, this period of growth is termed as juvenile phase. Whereas in plants, this period of growth is known as or referred as vegetative phase. Generally in higher plants, right, the end of the vegetative phase marks the beginning of reproductive phase. Now, what do you mean by reproductive phase here in the plants? When plants start flowering, when plants start producing flowers, that time we say that the plants have reached their reproductive phase. So here, beginning of reproductive phase means when they start flowering, right? When they start producing flowers, then we say that they have attained their reproductive phase. And this transition between the vegetative phase to the reproductive phase are under the control of many factors. Some of the factors like genetic factor is there, hormonal factor are there, and then environmental factors are also there. So here the transition between vegetative phase to reproductive phase is under the control of genetic, hormonal, or it could be environmental factor. Another interesting thing about the plants are, we know that plants, they are present in different geographical area where they adapted in such a way that they exhibit alternate vegetative and reproductive phase. Here plants exhibit alternate vegetative and reproductive phase. It is seen that in majority of the plant species, large number of plant species produce flowers throughout the year, irrespective of the season. The flowers can be seen throughout the year in any season, whereas some plant species produce flowers in a particular season. Plants further, based on whether they are producing flowers throughout the year or seasonally, there are three types are there. The first one is annuals, second one is biennials, then third one is perennials. So we'll see one by one. So the first one, annuals, or we can also consider it as a annual plants. Here annual plants, basically they live for 1 year. Annual plants live for 1 year, right? They complete their vegetative phase, followed by flowering, then they produce fruits, seeds, and then they die. Here example includes paddy, wheat, and sunflower. Right? So what are annual plants? Annual plants are the plants which complete their vegetative phase and followed by a reproductive phase. That means they produce flowers, fruits, and seeds, and eventually they die in 1 year. So such plants are called as annual plants. They live for 1 year. Examples are here. The next type of plants are known as biennial or biennial plants. Biennial, that means they live for 2 years, right? So here the plants, during their first year, they complete their vegetative phase, then in the second year they produce flower, fruits, seeds, and after which they die. Here examples includes radish, carrot, beetroot, and cabbage, right? So next comes the third one, that is perennials or perennial plants. Here perennial plants, they actually grow for many years. The plants which grow for many years are known as perennials. Some of the perennials like coconut and areca nut produce flowers after 6 to 8 years of vegetative growth. Perennial plants, they grow for many years, and some of the perennials like the coconut, here the coconut, and then areca nut plants, they produce flowers after attending or after the age of 6 to 8 years. That means they need to grow for 6 to 8 years in order to produce the flowers, in order to reach the reproductive phase, right? So once again, whether the perennial plants, of course they are growing for many years, whether now they are producing throughout the year or seasonally, once again they are grouped under two categories. So what are those? Let us see. The perennial plants are further grouped into two types. First one is polycarpic and then monocarpic, right? Basically here polycarpic, here poly means many, carpic, carps means fruits. That means these are the perennials. Polycarpic plants are the perennials which produce flowers many times during their lifetime, right? So such plants are called as polycarpic plants. So here polycarpic plants produce flowers many times during their lifetime. So such plants are called as polycarpic plants, right? So here example, if you take examples like coconut, they produce flowers throughout the year. Here one thing what you have to notice is coconut, they need to reach reproductive phase after 6 to 8 years. After that only they are going to produce flower throughout the year. That means the coconuts, they are available throughout the year irrespective of the season. Whereas if you take the examples like mango, apple and jackfruit, produce flowers seasonally. It is because of this reason only the mango, apple fruits and jackfruits, they are available only particular season of the year, right? Coming to the next one, that is monocarpic. Here mono means single, carp means here fruits. That means monocarpics are the perennials which produce flowers only once during their lifetime. So such plants are called as monocarpic plants. So what is that? Monocarpic plants are the perennials which produce flowers only once in their lifetime. So here you can see the difference between the polycarpic and monocarpic plants. Both are perennials. They grow for many years. Here they are producing flowers. That means polycarpic, they produce flowers many times during their lifetime. Whether they produce after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 years, 8 years or 100 years. They produce flowers throughout the year or many times. So once again there are two types over here that we have seen. So here in case of monocarpic plants, they produce flowers only once in their lifetime. Examples if you take like bamboo and corypha, which is also called as teleport palm, right? They produce flower after 50 to 100 years. This is very important, right? In examination they may ask, name the plants which produce the flowers after 50 to 100 years, right? So here examples are bamboo and corypha, which is also called as teleport plant. Some of the monocarpic plants like century plants, agave and some yuccas, they produce flowers after 8 to 20. There is a one more monocarpic plant that is known as Strobilanthes kuntiana. This is a very important plant for exam point of view, right? So here Strobilanthes kuntiana normally or commonly it is also called as Neelakuranji, right? And this plant is going to produce flowers once in every 12 years, right? Produce flowers once in 12 years. So in examination they may ask like name the plants which produce flowers in every 12 years, right? So in that case the answer will be Strobilanthes kuntiana, that is also called as Neelakuranji. And this plant is basically, it is a shrub. It is the shrub which grows abundantly in the Nilgiri hills, which is found in the southern side of the India. Shrub grows in Nilgiri hills. Nilgiri hills basically literally it means blue mountain, right? And why it is called as blue mountain? It is because this Strobilanthes kuntiana are going to produce purplish blue color flowers, so that is going to attract large number of tourists. So it is a tourist spot as well. That's it for today. Hope you found this video useful. If so, hit like button, share this video with your friends if you are a student, and share this video with your colleagues if you are a teacher. I will see you in my next video. Till then, take care.